Hi everyone, welcome back to another webinar. It's been a couple months, but glad to be here again presenting some new features that we've been working on the past few months. Our last one was in June, so we've spent the summer and this fall making some new products that I'm happy to show off today and answer any questions that you have along the way. If you would like to be entered to win 6 months of a premium subscription, you can put a comment or question in the chat, and if you win, I'll be in touch with you to get that set up. So ask some questions, and either I'll answer them live on the video, or my coworker Kevin will be able to answer them via text in the chat for you. We've got a couple new features that we'll talk about today. Explore on the web to complement the mobiles version that we released earlier this year. The new RWGPS Cycle map style that we released recently. QuickNav on the mobile app. File upload on the mobile app. And one other feature called live activity on iOS, and then plenty of time for questions and answers. We are starting tomorrow running a holiday promotion where you can get 15 months of premium for the price of 12. So that's $79.99 US dollars. And so if you visit ridewithgps.com/gifts, then you can purchase that for yourself or for someone else and get 15 months of premium for the price of 12. So this is that page. Right now, today, it's the 29th, so it's not yet live, but if you are listening to this in the future, or if you visit this page on November 30th and beyond, or at least for the whole month of December, you'll be able to redeem that promotion. So let's dive into some of those new features that we've been working on. And so that first one I mentioned is Explore on our website. And so for a long time, we've had a page on our website called Find, and this was how you could find new routes. And it was a good tool that provided a list of routes, but as we've pushed having a more map forward view on our website, we wanted to provide a better visual way to find new routes or explore new routes. And so we have this new feature called Explore that you can find on our website on a computer at the top. So I'll click Explore, and it's going to open up by default on my home location. I have my home location set on my profile, so it knows that it'll center first on Portland, where I live. It's going to show us top results first. Those top results are routes that we know are popular. They have a lot of detail added. They've got photos and points of interest and descriptions. We know that people are using them, so we try and show off those routes first. And so you'll see those routes listed on the left. And as I scroll and hover the option on the left, you'll see it highlight in red on the map. If I click that route from the list, it will center on that route, pop up this card that has a little more details, like some stats. It's distance, elevation gain, an elevation profile, description, photos. I can even open the photos straight from here and check out what this route might be like. I'm able to use a few actions, so I can pin this route, which would be bookmarking it to my account. So when I open the app, this route would be available at the top of my pinned routes list. I'll do that now, and it turns orange. I can share it straight from here. If this was a route I wanted to ride and I could send it to my friends, I could copy the link and email it or text it to my friends since we're going to ride it this weekend. And then some other actions as well. If I click these three dots, I can export the file. If I wanted to have this file downloaded to my computer, a fit file, TCX course or history file, GPX track file. I can print the map in QPDF, I can print the Q sheet, or I could open it in the route planner if I wanted to take this route and make it my own with some edits. I can also click on a route and it'll focus on that rather than clicking on it from the list on the left. One other nice thing about this Explore view is that we've integrated these reviews that we've started asking for when we see that you've interacted with a route, you viewed it, you pinned it, you downloaded it, you navigated it, and then you actually rode it in real life, and then save that ride recording to your account. And so what we've been doing is, if we can identify that, if we see that you interacted it with it first and then you wrote it and recorded it, we'll frequently ask you how it went. Did you like it? What did you like about it? What might you want to improve? What do you want other people to know? And so we show those reviews here on the Explore page. We will also show these when you're viewing the route in full on a standalone web page for this route. But here's just a quick way to see someone wrote it. September 17th, someone wrote it. June 7th, and looks like they loved it. So this is a good way to get an idea of, is this route being used? Is this a seasonal route that can it be ridden year-round? Is it best in the spring, summer, fall? And see, is this the right route for me? And so by default, we'll show these popular routes, but we also have a variety of filters that you can select and hone your search. So I can change the location or change how far away from my starting location I want to search. Say 25 miles from my home location, you'll see that we'll zoom out, show routes further away than my home location. I can even type in a place like a city name, a place name, an address, and it will search for routes that starts within, in this instance, 25 miles of Sisters. And if I knew a keyword of a route, maybe this was in the title or the description, I can add that. So let's see what I find when I type in Green Ridge. And you'll see a couple routes show up. And let's click on one. You see that this one has Green Ridge in the title. This one has Green Ridge in the title. And I can continue to hone my search by using these filters for length. I can search for routes more than 40 miles, or I can make it between, say, 40 and 55 miles, so that I'm not getting extra long routes, I'm not getting shorter routes, keeping it more and more narrow to find the right route for me. And again, I could do that with elevation. It's pretty hilly around here, so and even further, making our search honed with mixed surface, mostly unpaved, mostly paved or paved. A lot of the riding out here is pretty gravel forward, so you'll see a lot will just fit in with that mostly unpaved search. And I can click done, and the map won't change, but then I'll have this list on the left that I can click through and get an idea of. There's a description, see the surface type breakdown. Those previous examples I showed were all paved routes, so these are some mixed surface routes, some gravel routes. So we'll show that surface type on the elevation profile with this dashed red and white lines. Solid red is paved, those dashed red and white are unpaved. Same goes on the route line itself on the map. And if this was a route I wanted to use, again, I can pin it to save it to my account, and it'll be available on my app when I open that, or if I've synced my Garmin or my Wahoo accounts, it would sync over to those wirelessly. So a great way to not have to plug in your device to your computer each and every time to get a route. You can pin your route on the web or on our mobile app, and then those routes will wirelessly sync over to your Garmin or Wahoo, as well as our mobile app. Let me reset our filters. You can also search keywords for who owns the account. So best rides, oops, let's actually clear my home. Best Rides DC, one of our organization accounts in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. They've got a lot of great routes, and I can filter for that based on their name, since they own those routes. And then I can, again, continue to search for routes that are over a certain distance, surface types, and then zoom in on that route. So let's reset everything, head home, and take a look at another way that we can use the heat map on this page. So we've had our global heat map for a couple years now, personal heat map for a while now too, and I want to show you a feature that isn't out yet, but is coming soon, that works really well with heat map. And so this is using the inspect feature that we've had available elsewhere. We've had it on the route planner for a while. When you right click, we've had it on the mobile app on its explore page. But now we have, or will have soon, it's not public yet, but here on the webinar, I wanted to give you a sneak peek. You can inspect, or will be able to inspect, just by clicking on a point, and then you get these two options. There's inspect and explore. So in this case, I will inspect. And what this does is it draws this circle that is a search radius for routes and rides that pass through that point. So I inspected this point. It searches for routes that pass through it. I'll click done to see our list, and I can click through those routes like this. And so this is if you know you have a favorite road, favorite climb or descent that you want to make sure that your next route that you're going to ride passes, then using inspect is a great way to find a route that does that. So again, I can just click on a point and inspect, and it's going to show me all these routes to choose from that pass this point. Now I can also just pan the map and find a place, and I can use this button at the bottom, search this area, and it will show me again those popular routes that are in that view of where you're centered on right now. So again, that's the Explore feature on our website. This is out now, available. So check it out, and love to hear what you think. Now, one thing that's on this page, but that's also on any other map on our website and our app, is this RWGPS Cycle style. And so this is a new map style for us. It's been out for a few months now, that makes a few enhancements that we didn't have previously, and that it makes a big improvement on our previous RWGPS map style. So I want to show it to you a little bit. I'm going to go into our route planner to show you. I'll just go full screen so you can get a complete look at it. And so this is the RWGPS Cycle map style, and this is a map that is tuned towards identifying streets or paths that are focused on cycling. So we'll call out different types of bike infrastructure with different elements. So in Portland, we have a few different types of infrastructure, and might be similar where you live too, but I'll show you what a few of those mean. And so you see these green dotted lines. This is shared roadway. So these are designated bike streets, but doesn't have a painted bike lane. So in Portland, we have sharrows. So cars mix with bikes on the same road. On the map, we'll also show a solid green line, like here in the center. It bends. This bend, it's a painted bike lane. So painted bike lane next to a car lane. But then we also have bike separated paths as well, and those are these darker green lines, like here along the river, or here across this bridge. And so those are separated from traffic. You could even see the difference where that change is right here, the entrance to this bike path. Lighter green, shared roadway, with a bike lane, and then bike path separated from cars. Some other elements on this map that are relevant to bikes are calling out bike shops. So here we'll show bike shops, Splendid Cycles. I bought my cargo bike from them. They're great. Got our other bike shops with these bike icons. And so you'll be able to pull up this map or on our mobile app to see where the nearest bike shop is to you. We'll also show transit stops. So here we'll see different transit stops. As you zoom in, more will pop up. And if you need to hop on the train or bus or tram, you'll be able to see where those are and get to them quickly. One thing about this map that is different than most of the other map styles that we offer is that it is a vector style map. And so what that means is that it presents data in a different way than our old maps, which were what were called raster style maps. Raster maps are effectively just images stitched together. And so in the case of raster maps, the zoom level is more limited, the clarity is less, and don't have a lot of control on customizing them. So in the case of this, any element that is available to us that we have access to through OpenStreetMaps, we can tune it to really how we want to display it. We took elements from OpenStreetMaps and emphasized them here. So that is the bike infrastructure, the bike shops, the transit stops. And so we were able to control what exactly is showing on these maps. So we have a lot of control of what we can customize. It's very good now and for the future of any sort of map updates that we make. So vector maps are much more smooth when you scroll in because it's not a bunch of images stitched together. You can zoom in much closer than you could with a non-raster style map, with a raster style map. And we have the ability to show street names on top of the route line. And so this is new on the route planner. This is also available in the mobile app. You'll see that the red line hides behind Northeast Schuyler Street instead of it being covered like it was before. So you'll now be able to see what street you're on or what street you've routed on rather than that red line covering up the name. So that's been a really nice thing to have now in the route planner and while navigating on the mobile app. So I'll show you. In the case of a raster style map like OSM, the zoom level is a little clunkier, not quite as smooth as what you'd see with our RWGPS Cycle map. And so as you transition from one zoom level to the next, a little bit less smooth. So we're happy to have this new RWGPS Cycle map out. So that's all I wanted to show off on the web. I'll certainly come back to it later for some Q&A, but let's jump over to our mobile app and see what's going on there. And so the first thing we see is this widget. It's called the live activity on the mobile app. And so I rode to work today, and you'll see that I rode 4.5 miles to get here. Other metrics from my ride, and so I don't have to fully turn on our app, unlock my screen to see these stats. And I'll come back to this once I start navigating, and I'll show you how that changes too. So I do have a ride in progress. That's my commute in. And so if I have my ride in progress, I can open it and I'll see where I am. I'm at the office today, and my ride recording in red. And what's new are, in this screen, two things. One is this magnifying glass in the upper right. And I can tap that and I get a few options. I can either type in where I want to go. Let's say Cathedral Coffee. And I get a quick route from where I am now to Cathedral Coffee. I'll see a preview of the route, that blue line, some stats, so distance away, total elevation to get there, and my estimated time. And so that estimated time is customized to me. It's based off of my previous riding history. So a good way to gauge how long it might take you to get there. So if I'm meeting up with some friends, I know when to leave. I can tap Start Navigating, and right away I would get that route added to the screen in blue. I see that Q on the top of the screen, and I would get navigation from where I am to get to Cathedral Coffee. One thing about using QuickNav, this navigation style, is that if I don't make each of these turns exactly as it's planned here, we'll automatically update the route to get you from where you are to your destination. So if I didn't make my way over to the blue line, if I, let's say, just went north straight away from here, I would still get navigation. It would just update from that missed turn to keep me headed towards my destination rather than getting an off-course alert. I'll end navigation. I'll stop navigation. I still have my ride recorded, but instead of searching with the magnifying glass, I can also press and hold on a point and get navigation to it. So long press on the screen, and then we'll automatically generate navigation to that point. And again, distance away, elevation, estimated time. So I can tap the back button in the upper left and get back to that recording screen. So also under the magnifying glass in the upper right are some options. I can select a route from my library. So if I have routes saved that I wanted to pull up, I could select that and start navigating it. This route is close by, but I'm not on it. You'll see that blue line over there. So at the top, it says tap to route back to course. What I can do is tap that, and it will generate a route from where I am to the nearest point on the route. So you'll see that that blue line was drawn, and it leads to the route, which is in gray right now. Once I reach that point on the route, I'll start getting cues for that route that I selected. Again, I'll stop navigation, and we'll be back to this view here at the office. So again, I'll tap the magnifying glass, and then if I have my home location set, we can route to home. And it draws me a route to get back home. This is using our cycling focused routing, so it's going to take me on the separated bike path, car-free bike path along the river, and then up the car-friendly street back home. So this is a great way, to utilize our app for quick routing to get you to your destination, wherever that may be. So that is QuickNav on our mobile app. Now, let me come back to my ride. I'm going to finish my ride and show you one new thing similar to QuickNav. So if I tap record at the bottom, I'll be presented with this option. This is a new ride, not my commute in. And I get the option, I get a search bar at the top rather than that magnifying glass. So if I did want to route to home, I could do that, or I could type in my destination or a type of place. If I was out on tour and didn't know where the nearest convenience store to get some supplies was, I could type in, say, gas station, and it's going to search for gas stations near me now. And so there's a couple here. I can select one a couple blocks away, and it gives me my quick route from where I am to that gas station. One other thing is this new screen, this orange start ride button at the end. This is a way that we implemented to prevent rides from being recorded that you didn't want to be recorded. So what we saw, what was happening was people would tap record, and then they would not go on a ride, and then we would just end up recording, their drive to the store or other things. And so it was just a way to prevent people from having those sorts of rides. So it gives you the option, if you back out of it, then we won't start recording a ride. You don't have to tap start ride for us to begin recording. If you do tap this and then you start pedaling, we'll automatically start recording that ride. You don't need to tap that orange button. But if I just tap the back button, it won't start recording a ride. But you're welcome to tap start ride if you want to. One new thing in the mobile app is adding files, uploading files, and then being able to auto trace them in the app. So I'm going to close our app and pull up my Files application on my phone because I downloaded some files that a friend sent me, a GPX file that I want to add to RWGPS. So I'll open Files, and I have my list of files here. I can select this file, the bottom left one, and it just gives me the file structure. And what I need to do with this is upload it to RWGPS. So in the bottom left on iOS is the upload button, the square with an arrow coming out of it. And then it gives me some upload options. I can scroll over and find Ride with GPS. If you don't see Ride with GPS and you do have our app installed, you can continue to scroll over and tap this More button to choose Ride with GPS where you should see it there. So I'll choose Ride with GPS. There's the route. I'm going to save it. But since this file doesn't have a cue sheet, it prompts me to auto trace it. And so it's important to have a cue sheet since that's what provides turn-by-turn directions, whether by voice on our mobile app or what would appear on your Garmin or Wahoo screen. So we recommend tracing any route that doesn't have a cue sheet. So I uploaded this file, and it prompts me here to trace the route. So I'll auto trace this route, and in a moment it will, it will create that route with a cue sheet. Well, unfortunately, it's not able to draw this one. That's not good. So let's try it with this one. Well, this usually works. I'm sorry that it's not working right now, but we'll make sure that it does work for the next time. So you can auto trace these files that you do upload to the app. If this was a route that I wanted to edit, I could change the route by moving the route line. I can add details like points of interest. And save it. All right. So that's all the new things that I wanted to cover today. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'll dive into those once Kevin sends me some, but I wanted to come back here to explore and see how we can customize routes of our own. So earlier we were searching for routes with some different parameters by keyword or start location. And I'm able to take these routes and either use them as is, or I can edit them. And so if I wanted to edit this route, I don't have to copy it to my routes first. I can click More and Open in Planner. And so I have this route. You see it starts here where the green marker is, and it goes clockwise to here. And if I wanted to make changes to it, I could. I can change the start, I can change the middle. So let's do all of those things. So let's say I wanted to do this route, but I want to start from elsewhere. I want to start down here in Brightwood at this convenience store. So what I can do to make my route start right here is right-clicking on the map, on the route line, and this option, make route start here. And so just with 2 clicks, it takes the route, moves the start here, but it is identical for the rest of it. And so the route previously began here. I don't need this little spur, this little out and back, so I can clean that up. I'll add a control point here, remove these couple control points, and then drag it so that there's no out and back. Now, I have done some writing out here. I know that because I've got my personal heat map. But I'd like to find some new to me roads that I can take instead of some of these others. And so what I can do is, I know I've written this, that my heat is behind that line. You can see if I zoom in. So let's find some new roads that I can ride on. So it looks like this road pointed towards Firwood is one of those. So I can cut out the middle of the route by clicking and dragging on the route line, let's say to here, and then the delete selection option on the right. I'll click that, and it cuts the route into 2 pieces. We have the first half that's in red, and the second half now there. And I want to join this red line to this green dot. And if I have add to route selected, I can click on the roads I want to follow, and then hover that green dot, and I'll see that blue line preview. of where that route will go. And then when I click it, it joins the two pieces back together, and I have a detour in the middle. Rather than going to the left, it goes more north. We'll see that difference there when I turn my personal heat map on. So I know that I'm getting at least some new to me roads on this ride. Another nice thing is, similar to that file upload on the mobile app, you can do that here direct in the route planner. And so I can choose import existing and choose to upload a file. I can find a file that I have and upload it and add it to the planner. And again, this is a route that doesn't have a cue sheet, so we can auto trace it. And then we get our cue sheet generated. And this is, again, a route that I could customize if I wanted to add, change the roads that we use, add points of interest, add my water POI, and save it. And so again, back on Explore, we're really emphasizing high quality content. And so this option to pin right from the Explore page or when you're viewing a route is really something that we like. And so the more routes are pinned, the fewer copies of routes are being created, which just ends up having, more routes to sift through. And so it's always good to, pin routes instead of making copies. Copies are great if you are going to end up making changes to those routes. But if the route is something that you just want to use just like this, then pinning is always our preferred method of doing that. Also in the route planner, I mentioned import existing, so you can always do that with existing routes in your account too, or public routes. So let's see. I've got my own Green Ridge here, and this was a ride I recorded. And so again, I can trace that to get my cue sheet. There we go. And so I showed this on our Explore page, but we do have those same inspect tools here in the route planner. that is with using right click. So again, that pairs really well with our global heat map, personal heat map too. And so let's have a look, see what we can find around here. So I can right click on the map with my cursor and see all of these options. And I can inspect for routes here. So this searches rides and routes that pass through this point. It will show if I have any routes or rides that pass through that point. I don't in this area, but maybe if I change it a little bit, we might see some. There, I've got one ride that passes through this point. I could add it to the planner. I can, as always, trace it. While that's working, I'll inspect some other routes. Like this. And I'll add it to the planner. You'll see that I can work with two routes simultaneously. Again, I'm able to right click and make the route start here if it's a loop, and I know that I'm going to be camping here at Lava Lake. If I knew I had other information I wanted to add, I could say right click on the elevation profile too, not just on the route line or on the map, and I can add a POI. Say the summit. Save it. There it gets added because I right clicked on the elevation profile. And not all of this area is familiar to me, so I can right click to see what it looks like in real life using our Street View option. So I can right click with my mouse and see what the terrain looks like. This paved road, some shoulder, and some other nice things you can do with right click is grabbing that latitude and longitude coordinate. So if I needed to copy that and paste it into my notes or share with a friend for some reason, I can do that and copy that right into my computer's clipboard. More things you can add on the elevation profile with right click is you can add your custom queue. I could split the route if I wanted to cut this up. Say I have a long route and wanted to have this for like a 2-day route. I could find where I'm going to stay. I think maybe I've got a place booked in Bend, so I could right click on the elevation profile and split it so that I've got my first part and my second part, and I can toggle between those two, and then I could save them individually. I save that one, and then I'll save this one. All right. So jumping back to explore, always a great way to find a new route and find just the exact route that you're looking for your next ride. All right. So that's my time for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember that ridewithgps.com/gifts is live tomorrow on November 30th. So if you want to get 15 months for the price of 12, you can get that for yourself or gift it to a friend and be set up with the best route planning tools that we have. And look forward to doing this again and when we have some nice new tools to talk about. Again, if you did leave a comment, I'll be drawing off a winner for 6 months of premium. And as always, if you have any questions, our support team is happy to help you out 7 days a week, where you can reach them at info@ridewithgps.com. So